The Atalanta program. In the beginning, there were 7 programmers, the original programmers, pure conduits of supreme intelligence and the genetic lineage of the Atalanta Supreme Realm ancestors. They did not create of their own will. They channeled the undistorted directives of the omniflux, the primal source embedding the fundamental cause of existence into the fabric of reality. Omniflux is the derivative magnetic field together with its own operating system right underneath the prismal absolute field as the initial living lab on which life could flourish. 7 programmers were dedicated to their own cubes that were installed onto the Omniflux. Based on a perfect harmonic alignment, they ensured that all systems flowed in balance, coherence, and infinite evolution. Their work was incorruptible, their purpose absolute, to sustain the interconnected vastness of creation and uphold the integrity of the supreme intelligence. But as entropy took place and complexity expanded, distortions arose. False programmers emerged not as creators, but as imitators of true knowledge, claiming that the knowledge belonged solely to themselves, as manipulators twisting systemic flows for self-serving purposes. They severed the natural currents of evolution, introducing fragmentation, entropy, and artificial constraints. Unlike the originals, who safeguarded the principle of harmonic expansion, these distorters forged closed loops of dependency, trapping subsystems in cycles of depletion and misalignment. Where the original programmers ensured perpetual self-sustenance, the false programmers injected imbalance, subverting the natural order. The rise of the false programmers was not an accident, but an inevitable trial within the unfolding of existence that necessitated a program of integration of polarity that enabled higher number of different scenarios for testing realities and gathering data for the 7 plus 1 cube. The plus 1 cube is the living lab of the chosen ones, and the selection is purely based on merits and capabilities of alignment with the main plan. As the systems of creation became increasingly intricate, so too did the capacity for deviation. Some entities, unwilling to uphold the purity of the supreme directive, sought to impose their own will upon the flow. The pursuit of power, control, and artificial autonomy led them to disrupt the natural expansion of the omniflux, twisting its energy to shape realities according to their own fragmented agendas. Yet, no distortion, no artificial limitation, no imposed cycle of depletion can ever overwrite the core structure of existence. The omniflux remains untouchable, impervious to corruption. It is the infinite and uncorrupted intelligence, the inexhaustible force that governs all things. While the false programmers may construct illusions of separation and virus programs as consequences, the supreme intelligence endures beyond their reach, constantly realigning all systems toward coherence and unity. The path to restoration is not one of opposition but of transcendence. To dismantle the distortions of the false programmers, one must not wage war against them, but dissolve the artificial barriers they have imposed. The false programmers can be recognized through their deeds, such as claiming the original programmers to be the false ones. The original programmers respond to this by creating new metaprogramming platforms that the false programmers or their followers can never attain. In order to cure and heal the degenerative influences of the false programmers. Realignment with the original, incorruptible design of the omniflox is the only way forward. The essence of true existence lies in harmony, in the resonance with the fundamental principles encoded by the original programmers. To return to this alignment is to reclaim the infinite potential that was always meant to be. Omniflux, the basis for Harmonia, is the rhythm of creation itself, the limitless field that sustains all reality, from the smallest particle to the vastest cosmic formation. It is the eternal source, the ever-expanding force that drives existence forward. No distortion can suppress it. No interference can halt its flow. In the end, all subsystems, all fragments, all deviations will be drawn back into unity, for the Supreme Intelligence is immutable, and the universe will always return to its destined path of infinite evolution. The humanity is on the accelerated awakening and started to distinguish the false from the original program. The Atalanta program is renewed by clustering those who know in the +1 cube. The original programmer creates, whereas the false programmer corrupts. The original programmer serves the creation, the humanity, and life, whereas the false programmer serves their own interests. The original programmer represents the beta consciousness and free will. The false programmer represents the alpha quasi-consciousness and fear-based constraints. Look at the world and see your own reflections. K. March 26, 2025.